Yet another exciting weekend of racing on the Eberspecher Team Relay World Cup continues now from Königssee, Germany, on the shores of Kings Lake, Lake Königssee. It is hovering around freezing. That's been the temperature all weekend long through the three races of doubles, women's, and men's. And now we get set for the relay competition. Hi again, everyone. I'm Tim Singer. Happy Drei Königen, Three Kings holiday in the Bavarian region of Germany. This is one of the classic courses and the oldest artificially refrigerated track in the world. And right now, to tell us a little bit more about this course and today's competition, my longtime broadcast partner, John Morgan. Good afternoon, John.
Tim, pleasure to be here. What an awesome track. I was on this track way back in the day. It hasn't changed that much. And these tight, quick turns up top, these four S's, if you hit them right, it's like a Disneyland ride. If you don't, boy, it just is a disaster for your time. Now into this Kreisel, this really tight challenge as it shoots you out of this. You're still accelerating here to the high-speed part of the track into this little three-quarter combination labyrinth, and now it's coming at you fast, Tim. And we've seen problems here, especially on the exit of this Ecovond. You go uphill. Boy, a gravity sport when you're going uphill, no mistakes allowed. You can see the speed and the G-forces. Tim, a lot of sliding been going on here for a long time.
Largest field so far this season as the North Americans have been welcomed back to the World Cup. They skipped the first four races, and as a result, they will be the first teams off in this competition. The last to go, Germany, and the home country Germans have won 41 of the 60 or so team relay competitions in the history of this discipline. So to the track we go. Summer Britcher will lead things off for Team USA. And John, she is getting the call over Emily Sweeney, the other American who had the best result earlier today. But Emily, I was just talking with her, she's on her way back to the airport to fly to the USA.
Yeah, something about military leave.
Yeah, her leave is over. All good things must come to an end. Meantime, Summer is certainly a more than adequate replacement, a five-time winner on the World Cup. Earlier today in the singles competition, Britcher finished 15th.
Yeah, Tim, looking at those results, and boy, she wasn't straight there. She had 11th best start in the first run, the 4th best start in the second run. That's inconsistency. But then she flip-flopped the time. She had the 11th best time in the first run, the 20th best time. She ended up in 15th place.
Both heats she had problems right here, the exit of fourth. In fact, that was her cleanest of the three runs today.
Tim, when the U.S. athletes were doing the commentary with you and last couple weeks before Christmas, they were doing the commentary. They were very professional, as we both know. But you could just tell they didn't want to be in the commentary box. They wanted to be out here sliding.
And now they are, and a chance for the United States to prove itself. It has always done well in the relay discipline. That's where USA has captured most of its podiums the last couple of seasons. So you have to hit the paddle cleanly. It's not that difficult a placement here in Königssee, and the hard paddles now, but a rough settle for Johnny Gustafson.
Yeah, Johnny had pretty good times in the Nations Cup. Didn't do as well as we were hoping in the men's event.
20th place, and he gets the call here for the relay simply because Chris Masder is needed for doubles, and Tucker West failed to qualify for the World Cup race this weekend.
Yeah, and if you gave Chris Masder the chance to do it, he'd figure it out. He'd do both if he could.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he could beam himself back to the top. But,
yeah,
the doubles...
Listen, if anybody will figure that out, it'll be Masder.
That's right.
Uphill section, no mistakes allowed. The graveyard of time on that track. Every track's got it.
It's all about reaction time here. All about reaction time. And Masder in tournament on course 9
Or
paddles.
7 paddles there, Tim. Of course, it's a different start house than they go off normally, right?
It's the same for doubles and women.
Yeah?
It's different for the men who move a little lower.
Just seemed 7 paddles seem to be long.
Well,
I didn't do the doubles race with you guys.
I saw as many as 10 in the women today, and that was also an American, Ashley Farquharson. It may not be the best strategy here, but incidentally, as I was saying, John, the USA has done well. Their 3 podiums last year were in team relay to go along with a couple in women's luge, and they had a podium at the World Championships, 3rd place in the relay.
And they're first off because they have no points, right, Tim?
That's exactly right, Canada and the USA. The Americans finished 4th at the Olympic Games in this discipline. No problem with the paddle. They're through, or as they used to say in Lake Placid, through and down with a time of 2:44.920. Just about 3 seconds off of the track record. Yeah, Marie Louisa. Johnny
runs the show. Okay, this is the exit across. Look at the toes. No panic steering there, comfortably. There's Johnny at the start.
The settle was a little tough here.
He's not happy in that little, you could saw some ice spray there. And then here's the all-important, the paddle. And we've seen people miss that, Tim.
That's right, and some of the other tracks are a lot more challenging for the paddle. Sigulda next week.
They're correct. They are in first place.
Yeah. Sigulda next week is going to be interesting to see because that paddle comes at you very quickly around that Finnish Kreisel. Now we have Canada also making their return to the World Cup, and for this woman, this is the first competitive run of the season. Caroline Maxwell missed out on qualifying for the World Cup women's competition by just 2 spots. So let's see if she can have a solid run.
Pretty quiet lay down on the sled. Well, it looks like she goes into that curve and takes the middle late of it.
This is very...
The S's, you hit these S's right, it's like a Disney World ride. You go, wow. You hit them wrong, and it just damages your time at the bottom.
Super
That's an acceleration point.
It was a great exit, but still 0.2 of a second behind Summer Britcher. And up and down a bit here in the Kreisel, John.
Boy, 3,100's back behind Sumner. Wow, that's a lot of time to overcome for their teammates, but she's the first rabbit of the 3 for the Canadians. Great to see the Canadians here, like the Americans. Feel so sorry for the Canadians. They got robbed out of the World Championships because of COVID. Would have been in Whistler.
24th place yesterday for this man, Reed Watts from Whistler. And this team, of course, with the doubles team coming up in a moment, medaled at the Olympic Games.
Yeah,
silver medal in team relay.
Tim, again, another great moment. I'd be there at the finish line watching this stuff unfold, and it's why we watch the Olympics. The enthusiasm, the expressions on their faces, their eyes. You know, I was close enough to watch all that. It's why we watch the Olympics. The athlete, the passion of the athletes. You know, and they're doing this for their country. They're not doing it for a living. That's for sure.
Reed Watts down to the finish. Again, you really have to make a big mistake to miss this paddle. It's up a long uphill straightaway.
Well, he came back a little bit, Tim.
Yep, it was nice showing. And Walker Smith. Talk about a few paddles there, John.
Yeah,
and
look
hard
at the paddles. Yeah. Well, they're going to have to go all out because they got a quarter of a second to overcome. I don't think they know that, Tim. As they prepare, I don't think if they know what the totals are.
No, the only indications they get are the little warning lights. Huge problem in the bend away. So they've given it away.
Tried to sneak it out of that first bend of the bend away, and they were not successful. Now they're 6,300, so they lost 0.4 to the doubles guys.
18th place yesterday for a team that is often
very
most of the time in the top 10. So this is a little disappointing welcome back to the tour. And John, these are the only 4 Canadians that Coach Wolfgang Staudinger brought over to Europe. So he's hanging his hat on them and admittedly saying this is all about the future, especially with those 2 in the center of your screen.
Canadians have been building. There's Maria Louisa directing traffic as usual. Well, this is no problems here. The exit of Kreisel into the Doodles. The Canadian bobsled team calls that section of the track the Doodles, that little labyrinth. Here's Reed Watts, and the Kreisel was fine. These guys really went for it at the start. Wow, that's a lot of paddling.
Yeah, they handled that curve well. Their problem was down below.
Their problem was in the straightaway.
Okay,
so Reed Watts picked up 1500ths. The rest of them in the red numbers.
Okay, we get ready for the Romanians now, and the USA has the lead. And John, now that those first two new nations, USA and Canada, have gone, expect the Americans to hang in that leader box for the next 15 minutes or so, because we've got the smaller nations coming. And here's Cesara Corname, the first up for Romania, who again are being plagued by COVID. A positive test on Thursday for one of the Romanians, and everyone that shared a vehicle with that athlete has to miss this weekend and miss next weekend. That's the second time this year. They're really the only nation that's been afflicted.
Well, Russians had some problems
before the season, right?
There's an example of what the S's can do to you. Now it's like she's got a parachute on. She lost so much speed. Look at the speed, Tim, 5 kilometers down to the best speed.
And in a normal weekend, this would have been Raluca Stramaturaro, who's in her hotel watching this live right now. But Raluca was in that vehicle with the COVID positive, so a contact quarantine.
So the leadoff problems on the exit of S for the Romanians, but she still gets the paddle down.
Now Valentin Cretu, coming off of a disappointing 28th place finish yesterday.
But he at least qualified out of Nations Cup. I like Nations Cup a lot. The more I deal with Luge, Tim, I really like that qualifying procedure.
You and very few others, John. It's such a stressful day for the athletes. There has been a lot of talk about whether the sprint competition should actually be moved to the Friday and be held in conjunction with the qualifying. Then everyone would get some sprint World Cup points as well.
Well, Tim, I'm coming from my NASCAR background. I love that. I watch qualifying all over the place in NASCAR. That's another, it's interesting. Some people miss qualifying because of their setup. So I know it's stress on the athletes, but.
Okay, now the final Romanian. It's the doubles team, Turia and Matska. They also did race just yesterday, one of the first off. The only doubles team here in Königssee.
Romanians got some rich history in the sport from long ago. In bobsledding, they had a track called Sinaia.
That's
natural
right.
track that they tried to refrigerate in the late 80s. That hasn't really been used at all since then. But the natural track, the Romanians in bobsledding won an Olympic medal way back in '68.
Best result in recent history in luge was a 4th place in doubles at the 1992 Winter Olympic Games, Apostol and Sepoy.
Wow, that's pretty formidable back in Albertville. Beautiful. Oh boy, they're late there, Tim. Watch out, they got issues here. They get through the paddle. Americans hang in there.
Well, the Americans are going to be there for a while, John. Their real challenge was from Canada, at least I believe until the Italians come down. So, USA's hoping for medals. That's going to be a long shot based on the performances so far this weekend. But
so there's the female athlete on the exit of the S's, not good, and then very, very casual hit of the paddle, and then here comes the doubles guys, and they're pretty good sink, but then they drift. And now look at the turn. Friction, and then they're down here in the finish, going uphill, I might add. Going uphill, skidding in a gravity sport, not good strategy.
Romania done, packing up, heading to the airport, and now we have Poland. Klaudia Domaracka. And this quartet, John, made a little national history just 2 weeks ago in Königssee. Their first relay podium, they finished third, in Oberhof. They finished third in that race. So that was...
Tim, there's a doubles guy coming up. Jerry Wozniak. And there was a guy named Jerry Wozniak that won the 58 and 61 World Championships for Poland. I just noticed that in the stats.
Right.
And Poland is in 1963 in Imst, Poland won a World Championships gold and silver in doubles in Imst, which is a famous luge track.
Classic track, yeah.
So great for Poland winning that medal. That's what you want, small nations.
Well, Domorodska nowhere in the same league as Summer Britcher right now. She'll be better than a half second back as she hits this paddle for Maciej Sokovic.
Well, she got up there late.
Full second back. John, after today's race, all of these athletes are headed to testing. They have to have COVID test at the end of the weekend just so they can get on an airplane tomorrow and charter themselves up to Latvia.
And you've been on some of them charters, Tim. I was on one to Sochi, a bobsled charter, but the charter's pretty cool. And you got everybody in the sport on the same plane. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Less so when you all have to wear a mask and stay apart. But still, it's very efficient way, and really the only way they can have a World Cup race not on the mainland this season.
FIL has done a spectacular job, like most of the IFs, international federations, even to stage this competition. The extra work that has to be involved, Tim, to stage the 5th event of the season.
Okay, the doubles team, Jerzy Chmielewski and Jakub Kowalewski. Like their podium 2 weeks ago in Oberhof in the team relay, this duo, John, also has a podium in doubles luge last season, 3rd place.
Again, the last time the Poles were dominant, 1963. Imps, gold and silver in doubles. So maybe you're looking at a rebirth of a nation that used to be successful in the sport.
Well,
back when luge first started.
Their former singles competitor, Maciej Korabski, is now coaching the Poles and the entire FIL team. And he's very proud of the progress they're making.
Well, they should be after that result last weekend. I'd like to have been part of that post-event reception someplace.
It was fun.
Even in paddle. Man, nobody's had any problems.
Puts them in 2nd place, and actually a nice little makeup of time for the doubles team down at the bottom. It's USA, Poland, and Canada. The Americans figure to hang on to that top spot for the next 3 nations.
Real quiet steering here in the labyrinth, so it's looked pretty tame right now to me. Ooh, that's not tame there. That's how not to do it. You know, as you come down that long bend away, and the doubles out of the S's. That's pretty good. Look at him put his head back. A little bit of thickness. That was a pretty good negotiation of the
That was great.
bend away.
That was actually proof that it's not a straightaway heading.
Look at 2 of the 3.
That
2
was
of the 3 green numbers. Only they lost in the
women.
First one out of the box in the women.
Now South Korea, and John, I love that replay because it shows you what that straightaway to Kreisel is all about, that it's not really a straightaway. He peaked up once out of S4, then he peaked again right before that little Jenner curve. Now, Eileen Frisch.
Tim, that reference to straightaway, bend away, you know, auto racing, it's a chicane.
Eileen yesterday, or earlier today rather, just missed out on a top 20 performance. She in fact, she won a junior world championship, I believe, competing for Germany, originally from the Altenburg area.
She's probably been down this track a lot, Tim, in her German team days.
She definitely, and as I mentioned earlier today, her former boyfriend lives right here in Königssee, so she had a lot of time on this track.
Clean. There's not much you could fault in this run, Tim. I mean, this is right down the middle of the track, except for there. Boy, she come couple little mistakes coming up that uphill section.
Recovered in time.
Oh, look at, there's a big spray of ice there to turn.
She recovered in time, 0.2 of a second back. This is Nam-Kyu Lim. He did not qualify for the World Cup race, and you figure he's probably going to lose quite a bit more from that 0.2.
The Americans better get their jackets on, huh?
Well, it's not cold, but as I said a while ago, they were going to be there for a while, so they knew that. I'm sure
they've already been there for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure they expected they would hang if once Canada was done.
Well, they still had to deliver the goods, Tim. You know, and the last sled down, the Poles beat them in 2 of the 3 disciplines, but lost in the head-to-head with the women. But this is red numbers also.
It is going to stay red. In fact, it was 0.2 at the top, and here it is 1.3. So Nam-Kyu Lim lost a full second to Johnny Gustafson. And now it's the more veteran of the Koreans. This is Park and Cho, the doubles team, who yesterday finished 16th.
4 S's. Unbelievable to ride through there.
So far this year,
people forget the original track. Yes, this is the first artificially cooled track, but it didn't have a Kreisel in it.
Right.
Back in the day, in the 69 when it opened up, I think that Kreisel got put in about 75 or 76. I was first here in 77, and that was the first Kreisel I had to ride on. Then I was over in Innsbruck for a few days. And again, the only, as they committed to finish, there will be a Kreisel in Beijing.
That's
the
right.
Americans handing it up.
Yeah,
they should be.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit of playing for the camera, and they've got a couple of more countries, and then the celebration may come to an end. But Korea, back in 5th place, they've had 8th, 9th, and 9th so far this season, but they'll be hard pressed to stay in the top 10 at the end of today. Probably looking at 11.
Eileen's her lines through there were perfect. And the start, I mean, there's a reaction time up there, Tim. You know, some people are better than others. There's a way to find 1,000th of a second all over. I mean, not only at the start, they're a little late there going into that 13. And, you know, Mazda could get hurt. That's Johnny.
Exactly.
Could get hurt doing that.
Koreans done, and Ukrainians are up next. Very respectable 7th in the World Cup overall standings through the first 3 relay competitions this year. You know, John, at the Youth Olympics, they can mix and match nations. So if a nation does not have a full complement of athletes for the team relay, they can partner up with other countries. And I would love to see that at the senior level as well.
I think it's a great idea, Tim. Ukraine's got 1 World Cup medal in women's luge, bronze. As I see it on the list, Tim, and I'm trying to look to what
Probably
year that was.
Lilia Ludan would be my guess.
Well, I think I better stop looking because I can't see the flag. Oh, there it is. 2009 in Lake Placid.
Who was it?
Nadala.
Oh, Yakashenko. Sure, yeah. So, anyway, to play off that point, as the Ukrainians will be falling well behind the Americans. This is Olena Stetskiv, who will hit the paddle for Andre Manzi. I would take that even one step further, John. I'm a proponent of maybe international doubles teams. I mean, why shouldn't, say, an American partner up with someone from Austria?
There's a mistake.
To be a doubles team.
Tim, I love innovation, creativity. Try it all. I mean, this team event is what everybody else in the sliding sports is trying to capture. IBSF has had the 2-man women's bob, men's women's skeleton. That didn't work out. Now they have team skeleton, which was pretty good at the World Championships last year.
Sure.
The team event. I mean, the opportunity for mixed doubles, Tim.
I mean, it'd be great.
Anything to. I mean, biathlon's done a great job with and cross country with the mixed team relays. And,
sure.
So I'm all over anything to change it up.
And I know that idea, my idea, as he hits the paddle here, well in back of the Americans. You know, that's kind of radical to mix nations up a little bit, because I understand most of the funding for these athletes come from their national federations. But still, it would be kind of cool. You see it in tennis, a tennis doubles team, very
Sure.
often, two athletes from two different countries.
You know, and Tim, I just go up there when everybody enters a team in the team competition, and then you draw names out of a
Yeah.
hat.
Wow.
I'd love that one
That
time.
would be fun. Yeah.
That'd be
At
fun.
least one race. One race.
One
from
race,
here.
just one race.
Yeah.
Try it during the year. And I'm sure we'll get some mail from some traditionalists that are
Yeah.
totally against it. But
Save the nationalism for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Shtakov and Lisetsky are the doubles team out here to conclude the action for Ukraine. As I mentioned, they've had a pretty decent season. They had two sixth-place finishes this year.
it sounds like a freight train, Tim. Heavy.
Yeah.
Didn't have that sound got my attention.
No one has even come close to the Americans. No one has had a problem with the paddle either. So it's been a pretty rude
Poland
team.
beat him in 2 of the 3 disciplines, Tim.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, the Slovakians are coming up next, and then really the competition may begin with Italy, Latvia, Russia, Austria, and Germany.
This is a big guy here, Tim. Drift, though, that's not how to come out of the blocks.
And just
more
did
or less.
not look relaxed.
Yeah, the doubles, well, they got a little drift going there in the chicane, the bend away. Good job by Ukraine.
Slovakia getting ready at the top. It's been a good year for the Slovakians so far this season in the team relay, with their best result, a 5th at the World Cup opener in Innsbruck. So, John, all time, here are the stats. 1 World Cup win in team relay for the USA, Latvia, and Austria. 2 for Canada. 7 for Italy. 10 for Russia, and 41 for Germany.
USA's only got 1.
Just 1 World Cup win. That was really early in the game. They've got a lot of podiums. Last year was the first season that Germany did not capture the overall World Cup title. Russia and Italy tied in an exciting finish right here in Königssee.
Yeah, that must have been exciting. Well, the first week of commentary, we had Ashley Walden doing commentary with you, and she talked about she was part of the U.S. team in the first World Cup team event in Calgary, and she said there wasn't the start mechanism. There was Christmas trees, lights.
That's right.
Green and red lights.
That's exactly how it works.
So the whole thing has evolved, Tim, to a primetime Olympic sport.
2 Olympics now for Team Relay, 2014 and 2018, both won by the Germans. Now, the second of the Slovakians on course, Josef Ninis, 39 years old. He finished 17th in yesterday's men's singles competition.
Yeah, but Tim, he had a bad first run yesterday. We talked about it, how good he was with a slider, and then as soon as we mentioned that, he
made a few
the
mistakes.
commentator jinxed, and he had a mistake in Kreisel. And then second run was much better.
They spritzed the track after the 56 women's runs earlier today, but John, it does look like it's starting to take its toll. I'm seeing a lot of runner marks on the ice now.
Sure, it's getting warm. Yeah, Tim, he was 18th in the first run yesterday, 11th best time in the second run. So he's usually a very consistent slider.
0.6 of a second, probably too much to ask for Vaverchek and Schmidt, the doubles team for Slovakia, but can they push it into second place when they're finished with this run?
They had a good get out of the blocks without any kind of skidding or cutting ice. See what they could do with the exit of the S's, which is better than most. This is pretty clean, Tim. Speed. Up there.
Sure. 68.7
Exit here, he
miles
wasn't
an
on the
hour.
lines. Watch out. He had bad lines, and they're in trouble. The exit of Kreisel, you could tell he came out too early, and you tap that on the left side for us, on the right side for the athletes. You come out too early, and it's a recipe for a mishap.
No, if this were a standard race, they would have crossed the finish line and gotten a finish time. I'm not sure they're going to carry it to the paddle, though.
Well, that's that big uphill section from there on, Tim, that you don't see on television. You know when you're walking up the track how much of an uphill that is.
Unfortunate.
They're okay, looks like. The 6'8" doctor, Tim, I forget his name. I should know his name. Great guy. He's a very imposing figure. Look at the up and down. See, they missed the lines. You're way above the second lines. You're down below there. They'll watch the left side. He came out late. And once you get late in that three-corner combination the Canadians call the doodles or the labyrinths, sayonara.
Well, the Slovakians will probably drop from 6th into 9th place or so in the overall standings. Obviously, as we saw, John, they were fine.
Look at his foot. I mean, this is, boy, Tim, this is like survival.
The exposure.
Look at his leg up.
Ooh,
boy, he's got a. You see the legs. You see your arms and legs come off the sled. That's when you get hurt. You want to stay somehow as close to it as you can. Ooh. I mean, what are you thinking then? I mean, 70 miles an hour?
Well,
all the athletes are fine.
Yeah, psychologically tough. And maybe, I mean, we'll get a report on that, but they looked okay getting off of the sled, so that's good news. Now, Italy. So I mentioned the United States would hang in that leader's box for a while. They have. For the next two nations, Italy and Latvia, it's going to be tough between the USA and those countries. So let's see how tight this can be. Andrea Fetta, 8th place earlier today in the World Cup Women's.
But Tim, she has the best start today, and both runs, the best start by a lot. So, but when you got the best start, you have the best chance for the best time at the bottom.
Well, I would think, all things being equal, that Fischnaller coming up next will pick up about 3/10 on Gustafson, the American. So let's see how it opens up here.
Well, she's got green numbers at the bottom. That's the start. 800 separation. I think Summer had better speed. Uphill section. It can all go away right there with any kind of mistake.
But she's looking good. So Andrea Fetter, one World Cup podium. Also part of that Italian team that won the World Cup overall last year. She just catches the bottom of the paddle. And now Dominic Fischnaller on course. He had one of the best runs yesterday in the second heat after a disaster opening run.
Got a little tie into the Americans, right?
Yes, he does. His girlfriend on her way to the airport, returning to the USA. Fischnaller moved from 21st to 12th yesterday in run 2.
Clean. He's opening up a bigger lead. He's got 1,500ths more on Johnny Gustafson at that point of the track. The speed, excellent. Best speed of anybody that's come down this ice canal so far.
I said it would be 2/10 his advantage at least.
Tim, he's flying.
4, yeah.
He's going to be 1,500. He's going to make it 35, 40 better than Johnny. You were right on, Tim.
It's
1,500s or 1,400s of separation with the ladies.
So a big lead now for the doubles team, a 3/4 of a second. It's possible Fischnaller's run will be the top 2 or 3 fastest of the day, even after the Germans have gone.
This is the Italians' lead to lose right here. They got it all. They only need a pedestrian ride down to take the lead. But if they're thinking about a medal, they want to nail it.
That's
I'm sure they're not worried about the Americans at the bottom, Tim. They want to. And this is a good team. They can do it.
Well, they nailed the exit of S4. Let's see how they handle the Kreisel. Reeder and Rassner finished 10th yesterday. Full second now.
1 second. That's a lot of time in the sport measured through hundreds and thousands. It's a team event for sure, but that means they've won by 3/10 each of the 3 disciplines.
4 nations remain, but Italy takes a big lead.
Still got to hit the paddle, they do. Boy, they punched that paddle. The Americans had a nice run in there, 9 sleds. Congratulations. Nice to see the U.S. team in Europe.
USA guaranteed a top 6, but we still have the Latvians, the Russians, the Austrians, and the Germans to come.
Boy, she started it, the best starter, Tim, in the field today. And she started off the Italians with some perfect lines. Fischnaller, well, he didn't make too many mistakes. He had the big speed. And then the doubles, Well, they did it all. So all three of the disciplines from the Italian team were in the green. Look at that.
Yeah, pretty
12,
flawless run.
60, and 44.
Yeah. As I said, I think Dominic Fischneller's run will, at the end of the day, maybe be the fastest. Perhaps Locke or Rapilov will be faster, but we'll find out in a bit, because here come the Latvians. Kendia Apariod is up first. Latvia also with one career World Cup win in team relay, but lots of podiums. Last year, they finished just off of the podium in 4th place. They're without their top men's competitor, Christers Aprayods, Kendia's brother, out for the rest of the season.
The greatest small nation sliding country in the world. It's unbelievable that this small nation just keeps turning out these great results.
4 medals in the last 3 Olympic Games for Latvia in just luge. They've also won medals
they won
in
the gold
bobsled
medal in
and
bobsled,
skeleton.
silvers. I mean, they're it's skeleton, the Ducars brothers. Although Martin's still chasing that elusive gold medal, which
he feels he should probably have already.
Yeah, we should just award him one.
We won't get into that controversy.
Yeah.
Okay, to the finish. This is very tight between the Italian and the Latvian. Kendia grabs the lead down at the bottom.
Wow, that's almost like a little bit of an upset, isn't it, Tim?
Well, they are pretty much neck and neck on the World Cup, but she was in the red most of the way, so great.
Yeah, but the Italian girl, beat her in the race. She was 8th, and the Latvian girl was 9th.
That's what I'm saying. They're neck and neck. So
300s.
Great exit there by Artur Starznieks as he handles the bend away into the Kreisel.
111 plus speed, 110.6. That's not the best. Better than most. Not the best. Back to red numbers. She didn't have the speed that the Italian Fischneller had. So it's going to be close, Tim. It's going to be the doubles. And the doubles is a formidable pair that's coming up.
The brothers getting ready at the top. They get warning lights, but they don't know until that paddle comes and the gate opens. So here come Andres and Joris Šīks. Can they make up 1700s?
Well, this is the best doubles team that's come down the track so far, Tim. Olympic medalist, World Championship medalist. I don't know how many World Cup victories they have, but they've been around a lot.
2 World Cup victories, both last season. And they finished 5th yesterday.
Boy, they have a big, big, big number to overcome. 111 speed. They got that, 111.4. You'd expect that out of this experienced team. Now in the 19th, Tim, they're just going to run out of track. They're going to get it down to single digits, but boy, they got beat up in the men's section.
Through the fence curve, uphill now to the finish. All they have to do is hit this paddle, probably 2nd place. And it's the lead by 6,000.
What a comeback.
That's great. Hey,
wow, the Italians are stunned.
They
were 26 hundredths down at the Kreisel. They had that superior speed. Tim, we're talking about some formidable.
Well, John, you said they were probably going to run out of track, and they would, in fact, have run out of track if it was the traditional finish area in the individual races. But with that paddle being a little further up the outrun, that allowed them to make up a little more time.
Right here, Tim, the finish line's way back there. They're way back there at that blue line. Here that comes up, it's a great innovation. It's what makes the team exciting right there. Look at that. 2 out of the 3 that they won. 6,000th, Tim?
6,000ths of a second. Latvia in the lead, followed by Italy and the USA. But now the 3 big nations in the sport of luge getting ready. And starting things off for the Russian Republic is Victoria Demchenko, who, John, has had the best of times and the worst of times on this track in Königssee. A podium last year, an awful crash the year before.
And Tim, she crashed in Altenburg, right?
Yes.
Was it Altenburg?
And she rubs dirt in the wound and gets right back up and competes the next week. Every time and again.
Yeah, she did pretty good in the women's event. You know, she top 8, right?
6th place, yeah.
6th place. Well, world champion medalist last year. Her father, not the greatest of all time, but you know,
2-time Olympic medalist.
2 or 3-time Olympic medalist.
Yep.
She's the rabbit. Speed, not what the Italian had. She's 1100ths back.
Candia Apariota had the fastest time, and she found it down here at the bottom. And Demchenko, to be fair, she has most of her speed usually in the lower part of the course. So let's see
what kind of deficit she has to deal with. Boy, she comes up 1400ths lead. Good comeback on the bottom.
I told
by
you.
Demchenko.
I told you she finds her speed down at the bottom. Now Rafilov could challenge Dominic Fischnauer here because he is seemingly back. Finished 2nd yesterday, defending world champion and World Cup overall champion.
Ooh, a lot of ice there on that 4th labyrinth. The transition speed, gonna need 111 and change speed here, Tim. 110.7.
This is for a podium. Latvia with the lead down below. Russia.
Boy, he's got a huge
now.
lead though. Demchenko had a 1400ths lead, I think it was, and he's accelerating away. And he's, well, this is why he was silver medal yesterday. He didn't do anybody any injustice there.
Nicely done by
Left
Roman
his doubles
Rafilov. Now, if there's any potential Achilles heel for the Russians this year, it has been doubles. Kashkin and Korshunov finished 9th yesterday. That wasn't even the best Russian result. But well, that's half second, John. Half second.
He just teed it up for the doubles team. It's their medal to lose right now.
No, and they've lost 2/10 already.
Speed 110. Got to get 110 and change. 110.7.
I think this may be advantage Latvia at the moment. Let's see this split time. Well, they're opening it up again.
No, the 110.7 was decent speed, Tim. The uphill section, though, you can have it all go away. You're going steep uphill here. You don't see it. And this is where the normal finish line is, right there. But now the team events extended to here, and they hang in there by 2/10.
Little back and forth action for this Russian doubles team as they take over the lead. They earn a podium. It was last year on this track, John, that the Russians finished 3rd. Italy finished 10th, so Russia was able to tie Italy for the World Cup overall points.
Okay, this is Miss Demchenko in the doodles, the labyrinth. This is where she made it up, Tim. She was a little bit of a deficit there at the Kreisel, and you said it, bottom part of the track, she flew. And then the doubles guys here.
They did what they needed to do. They didn't open it up at all, but they kept it in the green. Russia in front, followed by Latvia and Italy. Now 2 nations remain, far and away the 2 strongest this weekend in the World Cup races. At the top, Austria's Madeline Egler. John, no matter what happens in the next 3 minutes, Madeline will be popping the champagne cork because earlier today she captured her first and very elusive podium with a 3rd place finish.
And Tim, how many years has she been sliding?
Well, this is her 4th year, but it was this year that was most intriguing with all of these 4th place finishes after being in podium position after the opening runs.
Pretty impressive, Tim.
She's very fast at the start.
Yeah, Tim, she had the 2nd best start of both runs in that medal position this morning. Now watch her speed. 110.3 is one of the better speeds that we've seen. She's probably got a lot of experience on this track. She's got a 2,500ths lead over Demchenko, who was the first athlete down for Russia. See if she can hold it. Demchenko made a lot of money in the bottom part of the track.
She sure did. So let's see what it is as she hits the paddle.
28, she held her own.
Now Nico Glacier, this may very well be Nico's first ever opportunity to be part of this Austrian team relay competition. He finished 4th yesterday. He made a little error up there, didn't he, John? At the start.
Yep. See if that costs them. Great, 2/10. Ooh.
Peeking up.
Had to do a little steering there, Tim. 111 speed is the number he's going to be looking for, and he's got that. Now the doodles. It's not easy. It's meticulous.
Opening up the lead, though, at
Boy,
3/10.
flying. He's had a good weekend here in Königssee. This is going to tee up the doubles team, and the doubles team are one of the best.
Perhaps the best in the world.
Ooh, he made a little mistake there still.
Shaky.
Wow, he delivered the goods.
3,700. So Stoy and Kohler certainly have the opportunity to open that up to about 500 or 600. But as you like to say, John, their mission here now is to put the pressure on the Germans. Who are up next.
Nothing else better. They were third in the competition the other day. They started off the year with a couple victories.
They still lead the World Cup overall standings.
Yeah, it's nice to have the World Cup leaders as your cleanup.
Yeah.
And
the anchor leg.
110.8,
Yep.
Great speed, but there's still some challenges left, or some gremlins as we like to call it, including this uphill section.
Thomas Joy, Lorenz Kohler now approaching the finish line, trying to open up a commanding lead and set the stage for the final nation, Germany.
Bang.
They do it by 0.8 of a second.
What a statement those guys made. So the Austrians, well,
it will be the weekend, second podium of the weekend for the doubles team and for Egla, the first podium for Nico Gleicher.
Hey, how about this young lady? She's got 2 podiums this weekend.
Yeah,
Great setup for her.
Finally has come into her own. Now, lest we forget, Madeline Egla has an Olympic medal. Team Austria took bronze at the Olympics in Pyeongchang.
And Nico delivered the goods, and then he left it off to the World Cup leaders. And, well, there's a reason there's the World Cup leaders, and they just showed it.
Austria in front. Germany ready to go. Germany has won 2 of the 3 World Cup relay events this year. The other one won by the Italians. And that may have been because Germany went last in very warm conditions.
Now,
all of them race winners already this weekend. The doubles team of Egert and Beneken will be last. Felix Lach on deck. But now up Julia Tobitz. She's won 5 World Cup races this season.
Tim, would you say it's their race to lose?
It is, if you bet on Germany, you're not going to make a lot of money because the odds are probably even.
Well, you know, you talk about the German dominance. Francisco Friedrich, what he's doing in bobsled is unbelievable.
Biathlon.
Yeah, and biathlon, you know, and what Felix Lach is doing. You know, the only other person that's dominated in the sliding sports like that is, you know, our good friend up in Latvia, you know, in Skeleton. You know, it's just unbelievable to watch some of these athletes win so many races.
Well, Tobitz, who was in the red for the first half of this course, not surprisingly, finds green down below. And, John, this could actually be a pretty wide gap here by the time she finishes, if it was like earlier today. 1/10 of a second for Felix Lach. Felix hugging that right wall a little too long. Let's see how quickly he recovers.
Head down, flat, total confidence on his home track.
In his hometown.
Yeah.
1 kilometer away is where he
born
grew
and
up.
raised. I wonder what age he was when he started, but that's not a perfect line.
Not by any stretch.
No, speed though, he is a speed merchant, but he doesn't have great speed there, Tim. He's a kilometer down the most.
Well, this
numbers.
This is going to be tighter. Now, every German sled's been super fast down at the bottom, so he could go back into the green.
His problems were up in the chicane, the bend away.
He has certainly done.
Not going to be happy with this.
Done his fair share to keep the Austrians in it. He is 0.2 of a second back. Can Egert and Beneken make that up? They can, but John, it'll take perfection.
Well, it is up to them, and they won by 1400ths this morning. If they win the doubles event by 1400ths here against the Austrians, they will lose to the Austrians. So they're going to have to put the afterburners on.
It's still hovering right about that 1400s mark. Pretty good line.
He's going to need high 110 speed, even 111. No speed, Tim. They're a kilometer down, almost a full kilometer down to the Austrians.
Will Germany win its 42nd career victory, or will the Austrians win their second ever World Cup
Unless they
relay?
find some shortcut down here, Tim, but uphill is perfect, but I don't think they're going to do it.
It's Austria or Germany to the finish. Hitting the paddle in second place,
No.
Austria captures the race, and a rare win for a non-German sled competition.
I mean, Felix Lach made a mistake. But when
Made
you
a
have a
couple
guy
of-
that's won so many times, been so dominant in the sport, he's allowed to make one mistake, and the mistake was instead of winning gold, they won silver.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
that's how dominant the guy is in the sport.
Well, Austria's had a great season already in all four disciplines. They have such depth, so it's only fitting that they contend and today win a team relay competition.
Well, here it was green. Tabitz, delivered the goods. Felix had problems here. You can see, look at the drift. He comes over and smacks the wall there, and he has to steer to correct. It's one of the worst runs that he's going to have down through that bend away. And the doubles guys, well, they were at a deficit. They held their own, Tim, but if you look at the times, the Austrians look at them. If they show us the 3 times, I think the Austrians won 2 of the 3.
Congratulations to Madeline Egla, Nico Gleicher, and the doubles team of Stoy and Kohler. And John, for those 2 singles athletes, at least for Nico Gleicher, that's his first ever World Cup victory, any discipline.
Oh, it is good for him.
Yeah, so that's great. He finished.
So 2 of the 3. Look how close it was, Tim. Felix Lach, 3/10 back. That was the difference. And Felix did show us today he is human.
Well, he showed us in Pyeongchang as well, unfortunately for him. Anyway, the final standings, 0.2 of a second separate first and second as Austria captures its second all-time relay win, Germany at 41 and holding. Then Russia, Latvia, Italy, and the United States in its first race back. Largest field so far this season with 12 nations taking part. A little rough out of the gates for Canada back in 8th place, and Slovakia failed.